guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kim Vasquez. For those of you who are tuning in for the very first time, I do a bunch of different videos about a bunch of different things, and if you're not watching my videos and if you're not subscribed, then you are missing out. So make sure before you leave here today that you subscribe. It has been a minute since I've done like a sit down talk video and talk to you guys about homeschooling my kids and where we're at and where we've gone and all these things. And so I thought I would sit down today and talk to you about, since we've wrapped up the year, and I wanted to talk to you guys about how the year went and kind of reflect on the things that I learned, the things that the kids learned, and where we plan to go for the future. So first of all, if you don't know the whole story, I pulled my daughter out of school in October, and then shortly after that in November, around Thanksgiving break, instead of Josh going back, my oldest, who's 13, oh, in case you didn't know, my kids are 13, his name is Josh, and then my daughter is 8 and her name is Mia. So it's a big difference on as far as the grade levels and stuff. But so I pulled my son out like around Thanksgiving break and so those first couple weeks of homeschooling the kids, like, because I had that whole couple weeks with Mia and we got a routine, I was like, okay, this is great, because at first it's very hard when you're trying to establish a routine. Then I threw my son up in the mix, and then it was kind of like having to rearrange our routine. In the time I was still going to school full time, and so I was juggling both homeschooling and my own working on my degree. So everything eventually worked out. Everything was fine, and I was able to work everything out with the kids' schedule and with my schedule, and we were kind of getting it down and really enjoying the whole process. There were some hard days, but there was also some amazing days, and I started to learn a whole bunch about my kids and how they learn and where they were really struggling at, and where they just needed some coaxing in, and they really actually had the skills to do whatever it was that we were learning. So then spring came along, and I started doing my spring semester class, and it was a really heavy workload as well. Same amount of classes, it's just the workload was different. It was classes that I kind of struggled with, and right before spring break was when I kind of hit a wall, but I was still okay. I was able to juggle homeschooling the kids and juggling my schoolwork. And then right after that, some of my classes were not doing as well as I would have liked them. So since I am an online student, I went ahead and reached out to one of my professors, and he said that I could go ahead and go to his face-to-face class. So I believe I went to his face-to-face class only once a week. It's all a blur now. But so and that was every Mondays, I believe, and I was there for like almost 2 hours. Then after that, I started doing tutoring, and if you watch any of my vlogs, you'll see, like, in the daily life of a homeschool mom who goes to school full time or something like that, I think is what it's called. I'll link it somewhere. So on the days that I would go get tutoring, the tutors there were really nice enough to allow me to bring my kids with me, which I think is a great experience, because one, the kids get to see what it's like to be on a college campus, and they just get to interact with other people, and so and they just kind of get to see a different atmosphere, a different environment, and everybody there was super sweet and super nice, and just really understanding of my situation with the kids and stuff like that. And we were doing fine, but then school started getting a lot more intense, and so it went from just maybe being on campus here and there, an hour here, hour there, to, okay, I'm here at least once a week for 2 hours, and then getting tutoring. And in the beginning, it wasn't that bad. I was able to get tutoring, but as the semester went on, other people needed tutoring, so my wait for tutoring became longer and longer, and so I would be there longer and longer. And so it got to the point where I just wasn't enjoying homeschooling anymore. I just felt mentally exhausted and drained, and I just kind of had to persevere and push through everything, and it was just it was really trying. It was really hard. If I'm being completely honest with you guys, there were so many days where I said, what am I doing? What have I gotten myself into? I got to the point where I was so close to just re-enrolling my kids back into public school. But I didn't, because I didn't feel like that would be right, putting them into that kind of situation. So even my few weeks, oh my gosh, even up until the day I went to Florida, it was just kind of getting really intense with school. And I felt really bad for the kids. The kids learned. It just wasn't a fun environment, I feel. I wasn't enjoying myself, and I know in life you're not going to enjoy every moment of everything, but I think as a parent, you know when you're doing something good for your kids and you feel great about it, and when you're doing something but your heart's not in it, or you're just kind of going through the motions. And what I mean by that is that, yes, we had time to get the lessons done and me getting my work done, but there was no downtime in between for me, it felt like, because not only do I have homeschooling the kids, and not only do I have my schoolwork and lessons and just extra studying for exams, and not to mention I was struggling in this class, I also had life that I had to do. I had to make sure bills were paid, fix things that need to be fixed, clean, laundry, everything that you need to do to run a household, make sure dinner was ready. And there were so many times, and I'm so grateful that my husband would just kind of jump in and be like, don't worry, babe, I got this. But it got to where I was doing school for myself 7 days a week. Before, it used to be I was doing school Monday through Friday, and then Saturday I pretty much had the day off. It was either Saturday or Sunday. I had one of those days off, and then I would study one of those days for like maybe an hour or two. But it got to where I really couldn't do anything or plan anything because I just didn't have the time. And so because I had to study and catch up on whatever work that I didn't get to because I had to homeschool. And so it just got to the point where I didn't have a break, and I didn't have downtime. And my husband and I both made the decision that, yes, I understand that not every semester is going to be this challenging, but at this point I still have another semester to go, and then after that I'll be doing an internship, hopefully, God willing. And so I'm not in a position to continue this, and that in itself also gave me, like, it made me feel like I failed. And I guess I could have still homeschooled next year, knowing that maybe my workload wasn't going to be as hard as this last semester, but I didn't want to have to put the kids like mid-year back in school. So my husband and I talked about it, and after just kind of going over what my personal goals are for myself and my career, we thought it would be best that we go ahead and put the kids back in school, which was a whole nother challenge that I didn't foresee coming. And I will make another video that kind of goes more in depth, but basically, but basically what it was that I was having issues getting my son back into school, and so it kind of became this thing, and this other added stress to me. Eventually we ended up deciding to send him back to the charter school that he was originally going to. Honestly, I was really happy with them. Their classes run small. They have like 15 kids in a class, so you really can't complain about it. But he still had to take a test to see where he was, to see if they were going to let him go on and to be a freshman and be a 9th grader, or were they going to hold him back. And for me as a parent, it was so stressful. We had like a couple weeks to prepare for the test, but really they didn't tell me what was on the test. They just basically said he's going to have a math test, he's going to have a reading and writing test. I was torn because I was really grateful in that there's kids that have the whole year to prep for this test, and my son didn't get that. He just had, and not to say that teachers know what's on the test, because they don't, but they have an idea of what critiques and stuff that they need to go over. We didn't have that. It was just kind of like, okay, we're gonna go take this test, let's study everything. And he still did really well, and so I feel proud of him. And the best thing I told him while we were waiting for the results to come back was that I have no question that you learned, and I have no question that I taught you everything that I could possibly teach you, and that I have no doubt in my mind that you learned this, I have no doubt in my mind that you learned. It's just, did you learn what they wanted you to learn? So I feel like I've been rambling, but that was really just a big relief once that happened, because it reassured me that I was doing a good job homeschooling him. And so, because I always questioned in my head, am I making the right choice? So he will be being a freshman, and I can't believe that I actually have a freshman, and I'm excited for him. My daughter, she will be going back to the school that she was originally going to. We have not enrolled her yet because enrollment is not until the 2nd. So as far as I know, she's going to be a 3rd grader. Now once we get there, they might have something different to say, but I don't think it's as difficult for elementary versus like junior high going into high school. But that is where I'm at, and that is where we are at. And it's took me a while to be okay with this decision. It wasn't an easy decision. Again, I kind of felt like I was failing, or I was just giving up, and I was really hard on myself. But at the end, it came down to the quality of parenting that I was able to be, and the quality of time and attention I was able to give my kids. And having a break now, because we've been doing in summer for a couple weeks now, it's been, the first couple weeks were just really tough. Like I was like, because I've been in school this whole time. I haven't had a break. I've done mini masters and stuff like that, but having this break, I finally feel like I'm the mom I used to be again. Like, I'm fun mom. It's nice to be able to go somewhere with the kids and not have to bring and lug all my books with me, because I didn't get a chance to study. And so if there's like a wait time, or if they're playing at the pool, I have time to study. I'm going to the pool, I'm going to be present, and so I miss having that feeling of being present and enjoying them and watching them, and not having, I mean, there's still always going to be that whole, I have schoolwork that I need to complete, or I have this that I need to complete, but it's totally different when you actually have the time to do it. I felt like I was spread really thin. And so this is not a video to discourage anybody from homeschooling. It's just, and I think I touched on it on an old video, or an older video, that said, make sure that your lifestyle and the things that you are doing in your life can work with that schedule. And homeschooling is very flexible, but it is, you still have work that needs to be done. You still have, it's flexible, but you still have an end goal, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But that is where we are at, and I'm going to be bringing in another video, and I will have probably like what my husband's view was on homeschooling, and then also probably a video about what my son and daughter's views were about our homeschooling. Again, I think homeschooling is an amazing thing. I wish that I could still do it. One of my other friends is going to start homeschooling, and as I talked to her about all the things that I saw and all these things, and she's asking the same questions that I asked, and it makes me excited, because like it took a lot of work, and I feel like we were finally moving and in a spot and working well together, and them understanding that, okay, this is what you have to do. And so I feel like, oh my gosh, am I gonna throw all that hard work away, all that scheduling and getting the kids used to a routine? Am I gonna throw all that away? Because it was work, but at the end I have to do what is best for our family and our situation. And so I will definitely bring some more videos about this if you guys are interested in it. And I appreciate you guys' support and letting me just kind of be open and honest about this. And again, it wasn't an easy choice. I feel like no one really talks about it. So thanks so much, and I'll see you guys in the next one.